In this video tutorial, we're going to learn how to configure automatic night mode switching and the ability to switch between automatic and manual mode switching. This tutorial can be used for the SV91 and 8100s and the SL21 and 1100 phone systems. If this video becomes of any value to you, don't forget to smash that like button. Let's get started. So I'll be assuming that you already have access to your phone system, you know the IP address and you know the credentials to log in. So log in with installer level access or with admin level access if the permissions have been enabled. So once you've logged in, go to system data. It's a good idea to also take a backup of all the data before you do anything, just in case you break something. So it's up to you. So once you're in, one of the first memory blocks we'll have to go to is 1201 on the left hand side. Once you're in here, you'll notice two boxes, 01 and 02. Both automatic night mode switching and manual night mode switching needs to be enabled or ticked. Don't forget to apply that. The next memory block will be 1202, automatic night service patterns. So this is where you will separate all the days and what times they switch over to night mode and back over into day mode. I'll bring up a table for an example. So in our example, we're going to make Monday to Wednesday 8 AM to 5:30 PM in schedule pattern 1, Thursday to Friday 8:30 to 9 PM, Saturday 9 AM to 5 PM, Sunday 10 AM to 4 PM. So we have different modes here that we can change for different customer needs. So the first schedule number 1, is Monday to Wednesday, so that's going to have to be 8:30 AM to 5:30 PM. Row number 1 is the first half of the day before the business opens. Row number 2 is during business hours of the business. And number 3 is going to be the last part of the day when the business is closed. Third column is a system operation mode. So this is the actual mode you switch the system into. So it'll be in mode 2 for out of hours and mode 1 for during business hours. If you're getting any value out of this video, just hit the like button. Now it's time to go over to time schedule pattern number 2. One thing before we move on, make sure you stay in night mode service group 1. Don't accidentally change it when you're trying to change the time schedule pattern table. Unless you actually are trying to configure a different night mode service group for time separation, then go ahead and change it, otherwise stay in 1. In this video example, we'll be staying in 1, so don't change the wrong table. So time schedule pattern number 2, that's Thursday to Friday, and that's going to be 8:30 AM to 9 PM. Now just a little side note, I expect that you've noticed that the system accepts 24-hour format time, not the 12-hour format, so just make sure you enter it correctly. Alright, so just doing the tail end of the day, 21, which is 9 PM, and mode 2. In the third column. Apply. Now we'll go on to do time schedule pattern number 3. So this is for Saturday. Now I was going to fast forward all this because it's pretty much the same, but I'm assuming you guys are doing it at the same time, so I'll just keep going and hopefully I'm not going too slow or too fast. So smash that like button and continue on. Yeah, don't forget to change the mode column to determine what mode the system is going to go into when the time is hit. Alright, so now we're up to time pattern number 4. This is for Sunday, 10 AM to 4 PM. So let's do this one. Alright, so now that we've done the time schedule patterns, we'll go to 1203. This is where we assign the days of the week to the time patterns we've just configured. Make sure you only configure night mode service group 1 because that's the one that we're mucking around with. Of course, if you're configuring a different night mode service group, then you go ahead and do it on that one. So just remember what time patterns we assign to each day. I'll bring up the table again. Alright, so for night mode service group 1, Sunday is 4, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday it stays in 1, Thursday and Friday go into 2, like so, and Saturday uses pattern number 3. Then now that you've completed all the entries, hit apply. Next memory block will be 1205. That's night mode group assignments for each extension. So in here you make sure that all the extensions are in night mode service group 1. Unless they're not part of this time service group, then you put them in a different group, but otherwise they're all in one. So the next memory block is 1206. So same deal in here, but this is for the trunk ports. Make sure they're all in one, unless you want to separate them. Reason to separate them would be maybe it's a different business or a different department that doesn't have the same times as the main office. The next memory block we'll be going to is 1207. So this is the night mode naming setup. When you change the system into the different modes, these are the names that will pop up on the NEC handsets. Next memory block will be 1208. Night group switching operation. In this area you set what the toggle values are for the night mode button you set in 1507, which is the next step. So if you're only using 2 modes, then you just leave it as 1 to 2. If you're using 3 modes, you set it to 1 to 3 and so on and so on. So in this way, it toggles through all the modes using one DSS button, instead of having one DSS button per mode, which I have seen on some systems, which is a waste of buttons I think. Also make sure you tick the lamp settings of toggle key option. Next memory block is 1507. In this memory block we'll configure 2 buttons on one of the handsets that we want control over the system. One button will be to toggle day and night mode on the system. The other button will be to toggle the automatic and manual mode. Make sure you have the right extension selected up on the top right hand corner. Then we'll go to the second page of the button layout so we can configure buttons 22 and 23. I'm only using buttons 23 and 24 just because it's easier to press on the handset right now, but of course you can use any button you want. So button 23 will make it the night mode switching button. So you go down to 09, night mode switching, and you make the value 0. And remember, making the value 0 refers it back to memory block 1208. In that memory block, remember you determine how many modes you cycle through with the one toggle button. On button 24, you cycle all the way down and you choose feature #07 fix operation mode, and you give it a value of 1 for the service group 1. And of course, if you're using a different service group, then you enter that number instead. Don't forget to apply. So just to recap, function key 23 is to toggle the system into day and night mode, or service mode 1, service mode 2. Function key 24 is to toggle the system between automatic switching and locked mode. So what locked mode means is that whatever mode you've got the system in when you activate that button, that's the mode that the system is going to stay in until you come back and turn that button off. So if you've got the system in service mode 2 or night mode and you press button 24 or function key 24 to turn that button on, which will disable the automatic function, the system will stay in night mode indefinitely. You can't even manually switch it back into service mode 1 using button 23. You have to turn button 24 back on so you can look at the automatic table again. Then you can freely change the modes with the toggle button on 23. If you're getting any value out of this video, just smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Now it's time to test your programming. What's the best way to test this programming without waiting for the end of the day? The answer lies in memory block 1001. Let me know in the comments below if you had guessed that. What may be obvious to you may not be obvious to someone else. We're going to be changing the time on the actual phone system to emulate the times on our table we had. At the time of making this video, the day was Saturday, so we'll go with the Saturday time. So on the table from memory block 1202, Saturday flicks over to day mode or mode 1 at 9 AM. So if I change the system time to 8:59 in the morning, we can watch the system flick over to day mode at 9 AM. I won't change the minutes, I'll just leave it at 30 so we can just wait less than a minute. Go up top, hit apply, and we wait for the changes to take effect. Hopefully you can see the screen clearly. You should be able to see that it's changed to 8:59. Now we just wait the 20 or so seconds for it to switch over to 9 AM and then move over to day mode. I'll just do a cut so we don't have to wait that long. Alright, so you should have seen it flick over to day mode, which is pretty good. Means all your programming was correct. Now for the next trick, we'll make the time 4:59 so we can flick over to night mode at 5 PM for the other end of the day. And this time I'll make the seconds 50, so then we don't have to wait too long for it to flick over to 5 o'clock. If you're finding value in this video, just smash that like button, really helps me out. I try and deliver a video every week, so consider subscribing as well. Alright, so it's already flicked over to 4:59, so we'll just wait about 8 seconds for it to flick over to 5. There we go, night mode. So it has automatically flicked over to night mode at 5 PM. So again, this proves that our programming was correct, so we'll be comfortable leaving the system ready to go for the customer. So let's say it's Friday and tomorrow is a public holiday, so Saturday is a public holiday, we're not going to be working. We need to make sure the system stays in night mode, it doesn't flick over to day mode. So what do we need to do? We need to flick on button 24, the fix operation mode button. So this means night mode is now locked, so meaning we can't change it into any other mode without turning button 24 back off. Okay, for the next step would be to go back into the system and change the time to 8:59 in the morning. So because the fix operation mode is on, or button 24 is on red, that means the system will stay in night mode or whatever mode you've left it in. Alright, so the system's flicked over to 9 AM and it has stayed in night mode. Because the fixed operation mode is lit red, turned on, so that means it'll stay stuck in that mode. One thing to keep in mind, if the fixed operation mode is turned on, which it is right now, you can no longer change the system manually using button 23. It's actually stuck in that mode, or fixed to that mode. Hence the name of the button, fixed operation mode. But once we turn it back off, then we're free to change the mode as we wish. So in this case, the customer will come back on Sunday after the public holiday, turn fixed operation mode off, and then manually put the system into day mode. Then it'll continue on with its timetable and automatically change again. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my other videos. Also, don't forget to log out of the system, otherwise you won't be able to log back in until the time's out. Thank you for your time on this video, hopefully most of it was helpful. Good luck and take care.